Brothers and sisters, misses and misters, sulky powders, and go-withouters. This is the Dented Cast, where we delve into subjects and topics that don't often get delved into. My name is Dobie Maxwell. This is Max Baumgardner, my partner in crime since we were on the Loop radio station in Chicago. And we've brought back this show, and it's been getting popular response from the fives of listeners and viewers. So if you like the show, please hit like, hit subscribe if you want to. Today, we're going to talk about a subject that I don't think I've ever heard talked about anywhere else, but it is so apropos. It is an L word, Max, and it is?
The word is lack, and I have seen many articles, because I spend a lot of time reading this, that when you start in lack as a child, sometimes that carries through all the way until you take your last breath. Other times, not so much. So we all have heard about people who start with nothing and become something. Oprah Winfrey would be an example of that, who was born into poverty.
Who?
And
Yeah.
But I mean, there's several people. There are athletes that you can think of that have had nothing, but that's not the norm. The norm is most people that are born into poverty, and this is easy to find with a couple of keystrokes on Google. They're poor the rest of their lives, or they have the poverty mindset the rest of their lives, even if they make a lot of money. You know, Dobie, I've heard you say, I live like a cockroach.
I am very proud to live like a cockroach. Yes, I do, and I probably should not say that, but I do. And I've learned to live in lack. So I grew up in the 70s. I know I'm old, but talk about really old. I was raised by my grandparents, skipped a generation from my parents, and they lived through the Great Depression. I don't know if they teach history in school anymore about the Great Depression. I heard about it firsthand. I had to live through the Great Depression myself in 1970, whatever it was, because, couldn't have anything new, couldn't have a brand name. You and I joke about this all the time. You know, the first time I had an Oreo cookie, I think I was 34 years old. You know, you had the Hydrox, the off-brand, no cereal. Oh, got to get the big bag of cereal, nothing in a box. God forbid you get a baseball card or a toy in it. And that becomes a way of life and a mindset, and before you know it, you're hooked. The first time I went to a thrift store with my grandpa, I hated it. It's like I saw somebody else's used underwear. I remember being a kid. Who would buy somebody else's underwear?
Really?
It's disgusting.
Underwear?
I see it all the time.
Oh, you still see it?
I don't buy them. I see them, yes.
In the package?
Oh, no.
Like they bought it and didn't use it?
No, they hosed the stripe off a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah, it's disgusting. But there are most thrift stores, and I go to them all the time, have socks, underwear. That's a little far from me. I won't go there.
Neither will I.
No, most people won't, but there are people that will. So the point is, I think how you are raised, and I'm not saying you have to be Thurston Howell the Fourth and be the silver spoon baby, and there are those too that get everything they want to. What are some examples in your life of lack that you look back now that were normal at the time that weren't so normal now?
Well, I was thinking about this as I was preparing for this episode, and one of them is, it was a unique paradox in my life. My dad made a lot of money but had nothing, including a house he rented, after my parents got a divorce. He made a lot of money. A lot of his friends did really well that made the same money, and they're still well off today. It was called investing and saving. He did. He'd walk into a bar, light him up. I mean, the whole thing, the whole bar. My mom, on the other hand, never made a lot of money. She made, okay money for but close to minimum wage in jobs that she was really smart, and educated in her own way. Okay. Never made money, but always had it. Mm-hmm. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's in my mind, I get those mixed messages. My dad would, have the new car and live in his car would be worth more than the place he lived in, which right off the bat, there's something wrong.
Sure.
People still do that today for whatever reason. A depreciating asset versus a appreciating asset, and so I with the lack, when my parents got a divorce, we lived in housing. Mm-hmm. There was lack everywhere. And we're
of material goods, of
yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Material goods, but,
food.
We're talking. Sure, absolutely, sure. Mm-hmm. That was even different then. Right. Housing then was meant as a temporary, like my mom used it, a temporary solution. It was never a permanent solution. Now, we don't want to get into that, off that. You know, I was a landlord, wrote a book about it. It's called Losers, Liars, and Leeches, True Stories of a Slumlord. It's available on Amazon. It's tagged below. But I got to tell you.
It's an excellent book, too.
I thought I could help people. You know, we just did an episode on kindness. That's up right now. You can find it after you watch this one. But I tried to be kind to people who I thought were lacking. It's a slippery slope, man. When you have the lack mindset, you have to retrain your brain. That is like, you know, for instance, if you're lacking in love, didn't get it from your parents. You did not.
No, I got it from your parents.
Thanks.
Thank God you entertained Max.
If you're lacking in love, you're going to be lacking in confidence, right?
Yes. Big time.
Those two are going to go together. So if you're lacking in confidence, you're probably going to lack in focus and follow through. Is that reasonable?
Status.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I'll take this little shitty job because you know what? That's what I'm worth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a lowlife.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to be sitting in the corner office at that high rise. You know, I'm not supposed to run that company. I'm not supposed to create my own business. I'm not supposed to have a life like that. We did an episode on I statements. Please watch that because they're so powerful, so powerful. But I think I statements play into lack. You know, like you saying, and it was part of your bit or part of your show, your routine. You know, I live like a cockroach, right? I remember you saying it on stage. You know,
sure. Got laughs too.
It's great. It's funny.
It is funny, and I think we did this on the radio. I wheel and deal collectibles. I always have. I bought a Hot Wheels car on eBay that cost more than the car I was driving at the time when we were working in Chicago, downtown Chicago. I would go to the car auction and buy these like some people rescue pets. I rescued cars. I had a Plymouth Neon that I paid $650 for that I like driving in people. Our program director, who was well off in a great house and a supercar, and said, well, why are you driving that? Because our listeners drive cars like that.
Right.
And they can relate to it. And I didn't mind doing it. It was really from the heart. And I'd meet listeners. Do you really have, yeah, it's right outside. You can go drive it if you want to. And I'm to the point now where I like it. If I had enough money, I'd rather buy your son, who I really am fond of, and your daughter is wonderful too. I'd buy them each a new car of their choice and give them the keys and still drive my $650 oil burner and not feel bad about it. And that's a mindset. I don't know if it's bad, but it is. It's in my mindset. How do I change it? Tony Robbins.
I'm not Tony Robbins. I'm Max Bumgardner.
Max Bumgardner is better than Tony Robbins. I never liked Tony Robbins.
No.
I'm kidding. But he came from lack as well. He changed his mind around. There's a perfect example of him. I don't know if you like. I love listening to Tony Robbins. I think he's dynamic. I love to listen to him. I think his energy is upbeat. And if he's a fake officer, I don't know. I don't care. He speaks to me.
Why don't you buy a new car? Why don't you drive a new car? I think that comes from lack.
I know it does. I know for a fact it comes from lack.
And then you create your own problems because the car's got 300,000 miles on it, was beat to shit.
That's new one for me.
It was beat to shit for the first 200,000 miles.
Mine's got so many miles on it, no numbers come up on the odometer. It's like lemons,
right.
Waiting for the game over light to come on.
Right. But then you drive somewhere to go to a thrift store or whatever, and the transmission goes out, and you're like, just my luck. It's like, no,
that's not luck. I admit it,
but it's lack.
It is lack.
That was planted there a long time ago. So
and it took some deep roots, buddy.
I don't think it ever goes away unless we consciously make the change. I should be on my second or third marriage right now, unemployed, living out in the country in Iowa along the Mississippi River.
So did you purposely, consciously in your mind say, that's not going to be me?
Yes, at age 19. Yes, I did. And I haven't ever been back.
And you succeeded.
I left. Well, yes. Yes and no. I mean, I have succeeded. We've lived in some nice homes. And I have a wonderful wife and kids. I'm very blessed. but there's still lack in my head sometimes. It still comes back, because I have to fight it. I don't think I think you have to keep moving through it. I don't think it's ever boom. I don't have a lack mentality because we started with lack. That's why. That's what we started with.
I will agree with that. There's a woman that I know. I'm very fond of her and respect her for what she does. She works hard. She makes a good living. She lives a fine life. She has a daughter that is really in the upper echelon, homes-wise, career-wise. She is a veterinarian, which I guess is a high-paying gig, but she's one of the top influential veterinarians in the country, and she really does well. And that's not giving her name or anything away like that. And it's nothing not to be proud of. And I asked the woman, I said, did you always think that your daughter, would do that and you should take credit for that? She said, no, she takes credit for herself. Mom, I always pictured her to have a life like this, and you didn't have anything to do with it. I did it all myself. And she meant it. It's like, okay. So the mindset in her, that was just the opposite of lack. And I saw the house. Wow. You have a nice house. She could fit about 3 of your houses in that one.
Right.
Ultimate family, cars, whatever you want, top of the line, everything. Because it's a mindset.
It is a mindset.
I admire her for that.
Right. So if you're saying I don't have enough money, what's that? It's a lack of finances. If you're saying I can't find any new clients, lack of business. I'm not good enough, lack of self-worth. I can't do that, lack of ability. No one is buying my product, program, tickets to my show, lack of sales. I can't sell, lack of ability. Lack. Tied to I statements that you're telling yourself.
Affleck. Quack. No, you're totally right. How do you turn it around? That's the happy ending.
With I statements. That's how you turn it around. That's the happy ending.
I have gotten rid of my lack.
Okay, that's a good start. I have plenty of money. I'm healthy. Right. I have great relationships. People like me. I can do anything I set my mind to. Everything I touch turns to gold.
I'm too sexy for my dumpster. But it's, I joke about it, and I think other people joke about it too. But the grooves that lack and some of the things we are dumped upon as children get so deep in our psyche, in our soul, in our mind, in our DNA, man. It is so not impossible, but you can't. It took years, decades, a lifetime to get in there. You can't just say, okay, I'm better now. Okay, everything's good now. I took a seminar and I'm better. It's going to take a while to undo those skid marks, man.
Well, it took a while to get to the point you're at right now.
Yeah, I'm going in a good direction. And we want you to go in a good direction too. Like us, subscribe to us, talk to us. We want to know what you want us to talk about. We want you to join the program. This is a community, not just for Max and I. It has already helped us as friends. We were friends before, but doing this brings us together as friends. We want to bring you in the circle. And there's 8 billion people in the world. I don't know if we'll get 80, 800, 8 million. We're not going to get everybody, but we want to get as many as we can, and you're a very important part of that. We appreciate you for watching.